Hi, it's Tammy Metzler here of The Right Associate, and today I want to talk to you about the 4 hidden ways that your website is ripping you off. And I know that may seem like a strong statement, but by the end of this video, you'll see exactly what I mean. So let's go ahead and get started. So, website ripoff number 1 is ongoing maintenance. Now, there's a lot of little expenses that go into maintaining your website every month, some of which you may not even think about, that are just sort of, it seems like a little expense to begin with, but when you add them all up, and I'm going to show you how, they start to get much, much bigger. So if you think about your website hosting, you may only be paying 10 bucks a month, but by the end of the year, that's $120 out of your pocket. Same with domain renewal. It may only be $10 a year, but think about over the course of your lifetime how many times you're renewing your domain and what that's really costing you. And then what about autoresponder programs? If you've got a Weber or iContact or something to that effect that you're using to collect names into your database, onto your newsletter list, and then follow up with those people, you're looking at a minimum of $200 a year at the very lowest, on all the way up to over $600 a year for depending on the number of contacts that you have in your database and the program that you're using. You could be looking at a lot of money that you're spending. Now, if you have a shopping cart on your website, which I've talked to people who have had a shopping cart and sometimes they're not even using it, or sometimes they've put it out there because they're trying to start selling things on their website and the sales just aren't coming in, but you still have to pay for that shopping cart. And for those, you're looking at a minimum for some of the lower priced programs out there of $60 per year, and then sometimes over $3,000 per year. So if you add everything up, you are looking at anywhere from $400 per year at the very, very minimum, all the way up to over $6,000, depending on the programs that you use and what you're doing. So now that this is put into perspective, you can see how you could be really losing a lot of money. And if you're not making the most out of your website, that's money that's coming out of your own pocket. And your website really should be set up so that it's actually paying for itself. And it can happen, and it does happen. It happens for me all the time, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can make it happen for yourself as well after we get through the rest of these ripoffs. Okay, so website ripoff number 2, costly web design. Now, don't get me wrong. I do feel that it's important to have a professionally designed website, and if you really want one that's going to impress your customers, your prospective clients, and give the right impression, you're going to have to spend more for it. That's just the way that it works. But what my point here is that if you're spending all of your money on web design and not looking at the actual content for your site, which is what's going to convert your visitors. When it comes down to it, in the end, it's your content, it's what you say, it's the message that you communicate that is going to dictate whether your website visitors are going to take an action or leave your website. So I'm not saying that you don't need to spend for web design, which, by the way, could run anywhere between $200 on the very, very low end, all the way up to thousands of dollars for a well-designed site. And it is worth the investment if you're making sure that your website is working for you. Okay, so website ripoff number 3, traffic generation. This is a big one, and I know a lot of the people that I talk to, this is what they're really concerned with. They want to know how they can get more traffic to their website, and that's what a lot of people out there are talking about. You know, get traffic, search engine optimization, use Google AdWords, all of these kind of things, and those aren't bad things. But if you're spending a lot of time or money on using these or implementing these different traffic generation activities, and when people get to your website, there's nothing that's helping them to take some kind of action, that's a lot of money that is really wasted because you're not utilizing it. You're not getting a strong return on investment. So let's talk a little bit more about what you might be spending on traffic generation. Now, and you may not be at the point where you're paying for this, but if you think about, if you're planning to, or you've thought about doing any kind of Google AdWords, Facebook advertising, let's take a look at what you could be doing, and what you don't want to be doing. So let's say that you put out a Google AdWords campaign, and you can set your own rate for the click if you do a pay-per-click campaign. But let's just say an average is about $1, which is actually kind of on the lower end. So that means that every time somebody clicks your ad on Google, you pay $1. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you add it up, and let's say that you have 100 people click your ad, which is great because you're getting lots of exposure, but let's say that 100 people click that ad and one person buys your product, and let's say it's a $50 product. You've just spent $100 to gain $50. And that is going back to the power of the content. If your content is not situated in a way that is going to get people to take action, you could be throwing a lot of money down the drain. So if you turn this around and your content was better communicating the value of your product, you might sell 3 of those $50 products. You might sell 5. You might sell 10. And then you're looking at a good return on investment. Okay, website ripoff number 4. This is the biggest one, because this is the one that we can never get more of. You can always earn more money. You can never gain more time. Here's the thing. If you're spending hours upon hours every week just trying to get people back to your website, maybe you're doing article marketing, you're doing video marketing, you're doing blogging, you're trying to do your own search engine optimization, whatever the case may be. If you're spending hours of your time and you're not getting a return, that's money that you've essentially spent with your own time. So let's say that you charge your clients, let's say $100 an hour. If you're spending even 4 hours a week on these traffic generating activities to try to get people back to your website, that's about $400 out of your own time that you've spent that week, which is fine if you're getting at least that much in new clients coming to you, or buying your products, requesting consultation, joining your newsletter list, something that is bringing a return on that investment of your time. Because all too often we think, especially people who are just starting out and we don't have a lot of money to invest, we sit there and think, okay, it's not a big deal if I'm spending my time, but it is. And that's what we need to remember, is your time is very valuable. And you have to think about that in terms of, what would I normally spend, or what would I normally charge for this hour of my time? $100. Okay, and is what I'm doing generating that return at least? Because otherwise you could be spending more of your time on billable activities. You could be spending less time marketing and more time serving the clients that you need to serve if your website is set up to really communicate how you can help people so that you're drawing more people in. And that's the whole point of this. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. You've all heard that, it's nothing new, but when it comes to your website, what that means is that you can get better returns on either the same amount of work or even less. So those are the 4 hidden ways that your website is ripping you off. And thankfully, I have the solution for you. And I dug into my daughter's marker box to make this a little brighter and more colorful for you, because I do want to kind of communicate that this doesn't have to be this difficult, boring thing. It can be a fun experience to get better results from your website. And let me tell you, when you start getting those sales notifications coming in, you're going to think that's pretty fun. So the solution here, instead of working your tail off, working 50, 60 hours a week, just trying to market yourself, trying to figure out what you're doing, trying to get more clients in, and feeling the resistance and not getting anywhere, or spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year out of your own pocket that's not being refunded back to you through your efforts. You don't want to do that anymore. And your website can pay for itself. Not only that, not only can your website pay for itself by generating at least a couple $100s a month to help pay for these expenses, but it can also fuel your business with several hundred or even several $1,000s just because it's helping to communicate what it is that you do. I know that this can happen. It's happened for me. I've built my business mostly just working. The first year, I didn't leave my house. Well, I left my house, but not to market my business. And I grew my business to the point where it replaced my corporate income just by using my website. And it took a lot of learning. I definitely was not born with this. It took a lot of studying. It took a lot of implementing and putting things in place. And it was a long process, a long and costly process. And what I want to do is shortcut that for you. I want to share with you just the nuggets that have really helped me, that have worked best for me. And leave the rest to throw it away, because you don't need the rest of this. I've sifted through all of the information. I've spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours trying to figure out what works best. And I've designed this system that I want to share with you. And I'm going to share it with you in a brand new workshop, 6-week workshop called Turn Your Words into Profits. Design your own step-by-step website profit funnel to attract clients and make money online. It's starting here in just a few weeks, so I want you to go ahead, and if you're ready to start, not only stop letting your website rip you off, but then also start making actual money and funding your business with your website, I invite you to join me. The website is www.turnyourwordsintoprofits.com. If you're not there, if you are there, just scroll down to learn more and to reserve your seat today. And if you have any questions, just contact me at support@rightassociate.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.